Hey everybody, it's Craig with Smartphone Envy, and today we're going to have a face-off between T-Mobile's myTouch 4G and AT&T's iPhone 4. myTouch 4G is a quad-band GSM, dual-band 3G, also offers T-Mobile's latest 4G connectivity, which is what they're calling it now. myTouch weighs in at 142 grams. Build quality, primarily glass on the front of the phone with some high-grade plastic around the 4 physical keys and optical trackpad here at the bottom of the display. On the perimeter, you've got a nice metal band that runs the entire perimeter of the display. On the back, you've got a metal battery cover along with some texture coating along the top and bottom, as well as on the sides. Taking a look around the myTouch, you've got the microphone on the bottom, left-hand side micro USB port along with the volume rocker. On top is the 3.5mm headphone jack and the power and lock key, and on the right hand side is a dedicated camera key. Alright, the iPhone 4 quad band GSM, quad band 3G, weighs in at 137 grams. Build quality, front and back composite glass, has a nice metal rim that encompasses the entire phone itself. Looking around the iPhone 4, on the bottom you've got the speaker and microphone as well as a port for charging, syncing, and transferring data. On the left-hand side, you've got your volume buttons up and down along with the mute switch. On top is a 3.5mm headphone jack along with the power and lock key. And on the right-hand side is the cover for the SIM card slot. Alright, on the back of the myTouch 4G, you've got a 5-megapixel camera with autofocus, LED flash, also offers face detection as well as geotagging. Video capture is 720p. You also have a front-facing camera up here in the upper right. For video calling can be made via Wi-Fi connection or T-Mobile's network. On the iPhone 4, you've got a 5-megapixel camera with autofocus, LED flash, and geotagging. Also offers touch focus. Video capture is also 720p. It also has a front-facing camera up here in the upper left for video calling, and video calls can be made over a Wi-Fi connection. As far as batteries, myTouch 4G has a 1400 milliamp battery rated at 6 hours of talk time, and the iPhone 4 has an internal 1420 milliamp battery rated at 7 hours of talk time. Alright, the displays. myTouch 4G has a 3.8-inch capacitive LCD touch display showing 800 by 480 pixels. It offers multi-touch, accelerometer sensor, as well as a proximity sensor. The iPhone 4 has a 3.5-inch Retina display showing 640 by 960 pixels. It also offers multi-touch, accelerometer sensor, proximity sensor, as well as a 3-axis gyro sensor. Just below the display on the myTouch 4G, you have 4 physical keys: a Genius key, back key, main menu key, home key, and below that you've got your optical trackpad for navigation. On the iPhone 4, you've got one single key, the home key. Alright, memory. myTouch 4G has 4 gigabytes of RAM, 768 megabytes of RAM. Memory can be expanded an additional 32 gigabytes by the use of a micro SD card. iPhone 4 comes in a couple different versions, one with 16 gigabytes of internal storage, one with 32 gigabytes of internal storage, and both offer 512 megabytes of RAM. Both of the phones offer Wi-Fi 802.11 BGNN. However, the myTouch 4G also offers support for DLNA. Both of the phones have Bluetooth version 2.1 with support for A2DP. Both of the phones have GPS with support for AGPS. The myTouch 4G can be used as a Wi-Fi hotspot and can tether up to 4 devices simultaneously. Processor on the myTouch 4G is a Qualcomm Snapdragon MSM 8255 1GHz processor. On the iPhone 4, it's Apple's A4 1GHz processor clocked down to somewhere around 800 MHz. Operating system on the myTouch 4G is Android 2.2 Froyo with HTC Sense UI, and on the iPhone 4 it's Apple's iOS 4. Alright, what do you say we do our YouTube comparison and run a couple of videos? Let's start out with, it's this Table Connect for iPhone. Why don't we start with that? There we go, and we're off. Again, they're both running off the same Wi-Fi network. Keep in mind, in the real world, the T-Mobile myTouch 4G could be running off the 4G network, which would make it considerably faster. That's pretty slick. I want one of those. Alright, let's take a look at another one. That's pretty slick. What else we got here? This looks like it might be funny. All right. Give you an idea of the quality and speed of loading YouTube videos. All right, I think it's time for our unofficial speed test. And again, I've closed down all the background applications, or applications running in the background, however you want to say it. So we'll just open up some apps and see how it goes. Let's start out with Maps. iPhone 4 seemed to open up the application first, but the myTouch 4G definitely found the actual location quite a bit quicker. Let's open up YouTube on both. And that was definitely the myTouch 4G. Let's try opening up the phone application. That was definitely the myTouch 4G as well. Let's try the camera on both, since that's an application you'll probably use an awful lot. I think the iPhone 4 was ready to shoot just a little bit quicker than the myTouch 4G. And let's go to the web as well. Oh, I got one of the bookmarks. All right, let's scratch that one. That one's not going to work. Let's try messaging. And that was definitely the myTouch 4G. It seems that the iPhone 4 opens something up quicker than the myTouch 4G, but the actual application loads on the myTouch 4G before it actually loads on the iPhone 4. Anyway, there's a look at our unofficial speed test. All right, let's run our navigation test, and we'll start out with the iPhone 4. And we're going to go to Starbucks, so we're going to do a search. U-C-K-S, search. And there we go, we'll pick this one right here. And directions to here. Current location, get route. And there we go. And we can start our route. It'll show us which way to go and give us directions. So that's navigating on the iPhone 4, myTouch 4G. Navigate to Starbucks. Alright, we've got our driving directions similar to what we'd have on the iPhone 4. However, we're waiting for the GPS to lock to give us voice turn-by-turn navigation. I don't know if you want to sit here and wait for that to lock. It's very difficult to get GPS where my office is located, especially indoors. But anyway, there's a look at navigating on both of these handsets.